all over the place again. I'm only on for a little while today because I have an appointment at 1 o'clock, so I'm only here for a few minutes. I'll just have time to do your readings. I have been snowed under this morning, trying to get myself organised. So just for today, we will only have a very brief sojourn. Hey, Hayley, how you going? How funny was that yesterday with your little email? I was like, oh my goodness, exactly the same day as me. Hey, Lauren, how you going? I'm only on for a little while. I'm only on for like 15 minutes because I've got an appointment at 1 o'clock. So yeah, it was pretty amazing, Hayley. Must have been a time for it, but I was blown out. But both of us going at the same age. I mean, there's a big difference in you and my age too. So it was pretty interesting. Hi, Susan. How you going? And Hayley, because you suggested to me I write things on my board, there were a couple of beautiful messages that come through this morning. How are you, Gillian? It's still really windy here, really disgustingly windy and cold. I don't know what's going on in the atmosphere. So, Hayley, I wrote a couple of things on the board, and one of them was Spirit said this morning that you'll find yourself beyond your own limits. I thought that was beautiful. So, and the other one was you have to look at every aspect of yourself to find yourself. So both of them. Hey, how you going? Hey, Maria. Hey, Joanne. You have to look at every aspect of yourself to find yourself. So in other words, you can't leave the parts of yourself behind because you don't particularly, like them or know much about them. You have to integrate them all in. Hi, Ruby. Hi, Tanya. Oh, hi, Deborah. How you going? Okay, so we're going to pull an animal spirit card out first. And we'll go with that one because that's coming out too. So, alrighty. Yeah, I've been absolutely flat out this morning. It's been very, very busy. Hey, everyone. How are you all going? Okay, so we've got the wolf here today. Now, I have a vague feeling we have had wolf spirit out before. But he's come out with the swan this time. So let's have a look what that means. So many messages. I'm getting messages all night in my sleep, messages all day. Okay, wolf spirit. This is about guardian of family and tribe, activism and ritual. The wolf's mission is to uphold the well-being and longevity of the pack. Healthy wolf energy expresses itself through activism, mentorship, humanitarian efforts, or teaching religious or political studies. The wolf gets into trouble when it assumes every member of the tribe must follow suit. This includes children walking in their parents' footsteps. Although it will surely be uncomfortable at first, practicing tolerance helps balance out agitated wolf energy. Contemplate the following: embrace all, exclude none. Oh, I want that to be my mantra. Embrace all, exclude none. Should write that one on the board, shouldn't I? Okay. Now, the other one was Swan Spirit that came out with that. So, Swans, which is looks very much the opposite here. This is about effortless creativity, sensitive mystic, and elegant power. The swan represents heightened creativity. In Hindu mythology, the goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of language, creativity, and artistry, rides on the back of this graceful creature. The swan is ready to take us there to the fluid realm of writing, creating, and reflecting. This potent and healing energy is not to be taken for granted or taken lightly. When the swan card appears, your soul is calling for attention, for solo time. An inner voice is waiting to be heard, an inner vision likely to be revealed. This is what we're all waiting for at the moment. So there's this infinite creative power. And Spirit keeps talking in the readings all the time about hidden gifts, hidden talents, things we're hiding away from the world that we should be sharing. And I think the wolf spirit is telling us that we've probably hidden away those talents because we weren't accepted as part of the pack. So if the wolf card is telling us that everybody should be accepted, nobody should be, discluded, then the swan is telling us it's time to feel comfortable now to be part of that tribe, not to hold back on those energies because you don't feel that you're going to be accepted. Beautiful, beautiful message coming through there. Hey, Scott, how you going? Yes. Oh, my goodness, we had a jumper. We've got a jumper. We will take the jumper. Oh, look at that. It's the card of blessed again. Okay, so I'd say that's probably just reinforcing. Hey, Moira, how you going? Yeah, I've had a lot of those messages, but then I had a big awakening. I always think awakening. I'm already somewhat awakened, but I don't feel like awakening is a one-off event. It's like hundreds and hundreds of events. I had a very big wake up. It was towards the end of last week when something happened, and it stirred up something in me that I needed to get some, I suppose, help with trying to work out what was happening. And the very same day, one of you beautiful guys here wrote to me and gone through exactly the same thing. And it was a bit sort of weird that we'd almost gone through exactly the same thing together. Thanks, my angel. And it's a lot to do with childhood for me. Somebody on a website, and I think I may have mentioned this last week. Somebody that I was on a website that I went to school with, primary with, which is hundreds of years ago now, posted a picture of our class on the board in this group. And I saw the kid down the bottom and I thought, wow, I remember that face. That kid was in my class. I can only remember maybe 4 or 5 people in that class. I cannot even remember the teacher. But when I looked, of course, I was in that photograph. And of all the children in that photograph, I was the only one smiling and looking so dorky. My haircut was terrible. My mother cut my hair terribly. I think she tried to make me look as ugly as she possibly could. So I had this really bad haircut. That reminds me of Drop Dead Fred. This really bad haircut, but honestly, the smile on my face is worth $1 million. I'm just grinning away like I am so happy to be there. But see, it disturbed me. I kept looking at it and thinking, I looked so happy in this picture. And I couldn't help but think it wasn't me. It didn't feel like me. It was the strangest feeling. So because of that, I contacted a person who's done energy healing with me before and said, there's something significant about that photograph that I need to work out what went on. And she came back and helped me work through some energies that had happened around that time. I had to write to the guy who put the picture up, who remembered everything about me. I couldn't remember a thing, but he remembered everything about when I started in primary school halfway through that particular year, and it was 1968, so I was 10 years old. And the person that does the energy healing with me took me through some things that had happened at that time. And as an energy healer does, they identify things which are a real blast because they actually pinpoint things that happened that you can identify with, which is so amazing. So I did this big clearing of a lot of energy that I had kept from around that time. And it was just such an amazing moment. So, and then one of the people on here wrote to me and said she'd gone through the same thing and it was the same age on the same day, which was absolutely amazing. So we are clearing a lot of childhood stuff away. This particular one cleared away a lot of stuff that I had around my heart to protect myself. And I understand that happens with us. When we're hurt or scared or fearful of what we've got or what we're living with, we build walls around our hearts so we don't get hurt. And I felt that go during the night time. So the person that I work with is in Canada, and I felt it move during the night and it woke me up. So it was pretty impressive. So I want to say to you all, I think that a lot of you are going to be working on childhood stuff at the moment. A lot of you are going to be clearing the energies that have held you back from having the dreams that you've wanted. A lot of the energy is going to help you move forward, and embrace those parts of yourself that you hid away from the world because you were ashamed of them. And for me, it was because we were really poor. My stepfather had gone to jail. I was probably dealing with a lot of that stuff. I got moved out of my home and put in another school and another home because we felt unsafe where we were. And I looked at the kid in the picture and she was still smiling, and I was like, far out, all that stuff, and I'm still smiling. So it was a lot of stuff for a 10-year-old to deal with. So I did, and I would have done, put myself in that little prison so I didn't let anybody hurt me anymore because people made fun of me. I didn't have nice clothes. I didn't have some of the things other kids had. So it's sort of like for some of you, that's how you hide yourself away as a child. That's what you do. You hide yourself away because you're too ashamed and too embarrassed to be who you were meant to be. Hence here, swan wolf energy. So being comfortable now to share that with the world rather than walking around with that hidden away in your heart. So there you go. And it was beautiful. And if the person is here who wrote to me, I'm quite happy for them to speak up and say what happened to them. Once we get the group up and running where we can share stories and you can share your stories with each other, really excited about doing that. Just waiting until I get a time. Thank you, Deborah. Just waiting till I can get a little bit of time to organise a private group, and I'll do it by membership. So you have to actually apply to come into the group. Now, I could do that on Facebook, but again, we would be writing, and I don't want the writing. I want us to actually interact. So that's why I'd rather do it on Zoom or one of those sort of mediums so we can talk to each other. I want other people to share their stories. So let me just read Blessed here, which is card 22. I think we've had this out a few times at card 22. Okay. And then when we get in the group, I'll share that photograph of me in the class at 10 years old with the dorkiest look on my face. And someone said, who are you in that picture? I said, the one with the really bad haircut and the big smile. I didn't care. I didn't care then. I can't remember, but you can see that I absolutely did not care that I was standing there grinning my head off and everybody else was sort of prim and proper smiles. And I was like, okay, blessed. Right. Something wonderful that is unearned and unexpected. Grace that is an unforeseen gift from spirit. There are moments in life when out of the blue it seems that everything has been orchestrated by divine intervention. You feel blessed in ways that are difficult to express. It's as if the Red Sea parts in front of you and events come together to banish your troubles easily and naturally. You know deep down you did not deserve any of it, and yet here you are. This is one of those times. Let awe and gratitude for your blessings guide you now. So very, very special time in the universe at the moment because we really are embracing everything about ourselves. Everything. We're not ashamed anymore. We don't mind anymore. Our ego really doesn't, apart from the fact that we need it for certain things, it really doesn't matter anymore. What was that, Scott? Would they let me in? Hayley, I can't wait for you to share your story as well. It would be absolutely beautiful. As I said, once I work out, I'll get myself a little bit more organised. Sarah, you're not too late. You missed the readings. You don't get a demerit today, though. Or a detention. That's right, detention. What, demerit? Oh, that's not good. You're feeling emotional today. I think it's the wind. If it's windy where you are, we know kids get really disturbed by the wind as well. It always makes you feel really, I don't know, uncomfortable, I guess. I even put the heater on today because it's a bit chilly. Would you let me into your group? I'm going to do it by membership, Scott. So what I'll do is once we've got it all organised is I'll put out a little bit of I don't know, a little bit of a questionnaire or something to make sure we get the right people into the group. So, but we'll get that going shortly. Probably, hopefully next week I could get to that. So the readings this morning were beautiful, and I did want to, because I put the thing Spirit said to me on the board here. You can't read it from there, but I will read what it says. Spirit told me that I should say to you that it's beyond your limits. Your true self is beyond your limits. So I guess what we're looking at there is all the time you're staying within that safety and only showing the world those parts of you you feel comfortable with, or those aspects of yourself that make you feel comfortable, that you hide behind, then you're not showing your true self. And they said to me, going beyond those limits is where you are. So the other thing that came up was, embracing all aspects of yourself, not just the ones that you feel comfortable with. So, there are things about ourselves we don't feel comfortable with, things we may not like, certain things about ourselves, but those are the things that are gifts to us and that we need to share with the world. We've just been told at some stage or another to hide them away. So I want you to think about that today, because I think that we accept what is socially acceptable. And then when we get laughed at, scorned, or told that something we do or say is not acceptable, we hold ourselves responsible and we put that away. So inside, we're like this little bubbling cauldron of just amazing things that we don't allow to escape because we're scared of judgment. So being yourself goes beyond having those things. It goes beyond what you think you are. So beyond your own limits. I have to go very shortly because I've got an appointment at 1. So would I continue the daily? I'm going to do it a little bit different once we get round to that. So what I'm thinking of doing is doing the dailies like this. I'll still always do the readings, but doing the dailies like this Monday to Friday, and then doing a group thing on a weekend, maybe on a Saturday or something, as we've been doing a reading on the weekends as well. But once I get myself a little bit more organised, I want to open up to do more groups. The groups for July are starting to get people in them now, so people are starting to look at them. But I would like to start running the groups on a weekday at different times so everybody can be included. It's really hard though, because hey, now Naldine, how you going? Oh, Gigi, you're probably still holding the, most beautiful parts of yourself away from the world because of what people have said to you. So you just have to stop sometimes and think, what is it about yourself you hide from the world? Like, we just become little social creatures and do exactly what was meant of us. We don't do things outside of that in case we get into trouble for it, or we get scorned for it, or whatever else. I love that, Sarah. Yes, be completely and utterly authentic. And when you say authentic, you mean authentic. Some people say to me sometimes, oh, but I am really honest. Yeah, I was really honest for a long time too, but I wasn't honest and being true to myself. I was being honest and saying what was right to say, but I still wasn't showing myself to the world for fear of, giving away something about myself. That feeling of, vulnerability. We all think that being vulnerable is telling the world everything about ourselves, but it's not. It's about being able to reveal your true self to the world. And we all feel a little uncomfortable with that. But anyway, I have to go. Thank you for joining me. I know it's been a really short one today, but beautiful reading. Take it away with you. And again, remember, you have so much more that you can offer the world. Don't hide behind what you think the world wants to see. We want to see all of it. Much love, and we'll chat tomorrow. Mwah.